Thank you so much, Marissa, and welcome everyone. Did you bring some energy to the session? Here to learn a little bit about mentorship? Can I just see a show of hands? Who in the room feels really comfortable with mentoring, understands it inside and out, maybe has already been in a mentoring role of one kind or another? Either you've mentored someone or you've been fortunate enough to be a mentee and have had someone mentor you. Can I just see a show of hands? Okay, a little bit. We have some good experience. I want to let you know that as we planned for this session, what we really talked about was the opportunity to educate people. So our primary goal for the evening is to do some education around mentorship, because your experience is not very different than other VSB undergraduates' experience with mentoring. At this point in your college career, it may not have touched you. But I'm hoping that tonight's program opens your mind in a few ways to being able to identify mentorship, understand why it's valuable, and look for opportunities in your life where you can identify a mentor, someone who can help you along, or potentially look for someone who you can help along. And I'll ask you to think about maybe the fact that you've already played a mentoring role in your life and haven't even realized it. If you have a younger sister, or if you've been a scout leader, or if you used to be a cheerleader and you coached younger cheerleaders along. Whatever your role, if you're a musician and you've tutored or helped someone along the way, you may have already been touching people and working as a mentor without realizing it. So again, just remember, tonight is your opportunity to learn even more about mentorship, and we decided to do this in a few ways. So did everyone get a one-pager, which just gives you a few rules about mentoring? They're not rules, they're kind of guidelines about how things work with mentors and mentees. I'll review this in a second. So that's one component of the program. The second component of our program, we're going to do some real-time mentoring. So I've recruited another alum, we have 2 student volunteers, and we're going to do 2 mentoring sessions for you live. Typically mentoring is done one by one in a private setting, but we wanted to educate, so we're doing it here with you tonight. So that'll be the second part of the program. And then the third part is really to show off some examples to you about mentoring and how it's touched some of us on the panel and some of the other people, maybe professors you have at VSB or other faculty or staff members. So there's testimonials posted throughout the room. They're the same ones that were scrolling as we began the session, and they'll be the same ones that scroll as we finish the session. What we did was we solicited people that, many women that work in VSB, and asked them if there's been a mentor or an advisor or a coach or a boss who's taken a particular interest or given them help and advice along the way. And where that has happened, they've been kind to share their stories, again, in the spirit of education. So I will ask you to please take some time and look around, because I think some of those examples, just as Adele shared some of hers, will help you understand the benefits of mentoring, especially if it's not something you know a whole lot about right now. Is that fair? Okay, great. I'm just going to spend a moment on mentoring. This is certainly something that you can take away, but I think it's a good setup for the rest of the program tonight, and for you as you think about mentoring as you leave here as part of the overall program. I'm going to start with a quote that was pretty impactful for me as I began my research on mentoring back in August. Research shows that those who are mentored achieve greater career advancement, higher work satisfaction and success, and greater future compensation than those who are not mentored. Pretty impressive, huh? I think that's a good business case for getting a little more involved in mentoring. And again, this is pretty simple, but I wanted to outline for you, because we don't all have experience with mentoring. What does it mean to be in a mentoring relationship? And it is a key relationship. That's the first thing I'll say about mentoring. The other thing I'll say is it's a one-on-one relationship. There's a mentor and a mentee that make up the relationship. That makes it a very personalized experience. And the cool thing about mentoring relationships is that when you're the mentee, you can really guide where that relationship goes. The mentor is there as an advisor, a coach, a helper. They want to help you move forward, but it's really up to you to give them some insight on things you're struggling with, decisions that are coming up, burning questions you have that will help them better understand how they can help you. In that way, it becomes a very personalized and a very cool relationship. There's a lot of resources available to you as undergraduates in the Clay Center, in the Career Center, across campus. Many are programmatic, but this is going to be one where it's a very personal relationship offered to you for what's going to benefit you the most. So a mentor is a trusted business professional. As you look out for a mentor in your career, I'd say find someone you admire. Find someone you respect their style. Find someone who's respected and successful in the organization. That's where I start. Wow, they've gotten there. I like the way they work. They haven't stepped on people along the way. I want to be more like them and learn from them. And their job is to look out for it and help someone junior to them. So that's why if you're a scout leader, you could naturally be a mentor for a scout. This happens throughout life, sometimes in a formal mentor-mentee relationship, and sometimes not. And you'll see that as you look around and review the testimonials. A mentor listens, advises, coaches, provides feedback to a mentee to enhance that mentee's growth and development. And that can happen professionally as well as personally. And I want you to stay open when you think about mentors and how they can work and support you. You can talk with them about a wide range of topics. It could be about should you be a double major. It could be about career planning. It could be about, maybe a little concern you have, you're not that confident when it comes to networking. They probably have some tips to offer you. As you become more established, you can find out from them, how to really step from a doer to a leadership role. What more effective communication styles are. Maybe you have a little bit of a hesitancy with interviewing or public speaking. They can probably work with you and put you in positions and work with you as in a mock interview environment to make you more comfortable. They're also important people. I've turned to mentors to help me through a tough time or a tricky situation. That's the time I think it's easiest to pick up the phone and call someone you have a trusted mentoring relationship with. Is that pretty clear about what a mentor is and what they can offer you? I'm seeing some heads nod. Okay, that's good. Mentees, what does it mean to be a mentee? What do you show up looking like when you're a mentee? The best mentees are the ones that have that ambition. They have that initiative, that drive that Adele talked about. They're proactive, and they're looking to focus the mentor on how they can best help them as a mentee. And when you ask for help, you have to be ready to hear that and listen and accept it, because this is a trusted professional whose real benefit is to help you do better and get down your path. So be ready to act on it. You might hear something, you might get a suggestion about trying some different kind of activity that you never would have considered, but I'm going to ask you to be open to it because there's a reason that person is bringing that up. And if you don't understand the reason, feel comfortable to ask why. Why do you think that'll help me? Okay, there's usually a reason why a mentor is suggesting something. And with their help, I think you will feel a comfort in exploring new things and becoming more creative and becoming more open. They will help you become a professional much quicker. If you're working with a mentor, I think you will move down that path more rapidly than if you are not. And to that point, mentees can help you explore career paths and industries and do shadow days, and good mentors will open up their network to you if they feel there's someone there that can benefit you. They may suggest certain readings. They may suggest certain resources that you're not already utilizing. So be open to what they have to offer. So that is the quick overview on what mentoring is about and the role of a mentor and the mentee. At this point, I would like to invite up the rest of our esteemed panel, Denise Veneri, Cindy Tresca, and Gabby Pollack. And I'd like to ask each of them to take a moment and introduce themselves. So Denise, can you go next, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Denise Veneri. So happy to be here, and I talked to a few of you already, and I can't tell you how impressed I am with everybody. And just honored to be here. So currently I am working as a part-time consultant at Morgan Stanley, working for the McKiernan Group. They happen to be here tonight. Bob's going to help speak at one of the workshops after that. And prior to that, I was at Campbell Soup Company for 19 years. I led their analytics team in the consumer affairs area. And what we were doing there is mining for consumer insights to help the company improve their products as well as optimize their advertising. So it was very interesting work. And I've done a couple things prior to that as well, but we'll go into that another time.
Cindy?
Cindy?
Hi, I'm Cindy. I'm a sophomore at Villanova, obviously, and I'm going to be majoring in finance and economics, possibly also minoring in business analytics. A little bit about me. This past summer, I interned with Macy's in their logistics and operations department, and it was an analytics internship, so I enjoyed that a lot. I worked with RFID analytics, and I developed a business case for RFID used in the Macy's stores for making sure that clothing in the stockroom was represented on the sales floor. So that was great, and that kind of influenced me. And I want to also pick up a minor in business analytics, and it's great. So that's pretty much.
Hi, I'm Gabby Koyak. I'm a freshman here at the School of Business. I am originally from New York. I'm undeclared, but I'm leaning towards a marketing major and a minor in English and analytics. And I'm excited about this workshop.
Great. Thank you. Do you guys want to take a seat, and then we'll do the first mentoring session? So you comfortable staying up here with
Yeah,
me?
that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so this is where the real-time mentoring comes in. Gabby and I are going to work together. I'm going to be her mentor. Losing testimonials. They're so powerful, they're dropping. Gabby and I are going to work together in a mentoring relationship. She is our freshman volunteer and mentee, so I want you to give her a lot of support. I'm going to try and answer a couple tough questions that she's come up with, questions that she has for a mentor, so that you get a feel of what a mentoring relationship could be like. Now, typically we'd be sitting down somewhere very comfortably. If we sit down, you probably won't see us. They might not hear us. So we're going to stand here and go back and forth a little bit, so just bear with us. But I'm going to turn it over to Gabby at this point, because as the mentee, she's the one that drives the discussion and tells me how I can best help her. So Gabby, over to you.
So my first question was, as a freshman trying to figure out what we want to major in and what our interests are, is there a best combination of majors and minors? Should you get one minor or one major and two minors, or focus in, try and broaden as much as you can, or focus it in?
Okay. So this is a good question, and one that comes up pretty often, as I understand it. As I've been back at Villanova, I've been surprised and impressed with how many students double major and get double minors, and there's a lot of work involved with that. But specifically, I would always encourage you to follow your passion. So if there's a burning desire you have to be a marketer and to represent brands and to beat the competition, I would not ignore that. Okay, I think that's really important. There's employers that like to see a variety of majors and minors. There's also employers out there who like to see depth in a single discipline. So there's really no quick answer for this important question. But I'd say be sure to look at two things. One is what your passions are, and the other is if you have a goal in mind, a professional career goal about where you are trying to get to, definitely talk with people and advisors and develop what your path is from being an undergraduate student to achieving that goal. And that should help you determine what the appropriate mix of majors and minors are that can help you best go down that path. Think about what Adele said about the foundation. You definitely want to focus where there's you can get the strong foundation. And I think with that kind of analysis and talking with people that are in the industry you want to be in, you will be able to work through that. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so my second question was, one of the things I've always been passionate about is English, but in the business school we don't have as many opportunities, so I've been thinking about minoring cross schools. So my question is, should I follow those passions and possibly take a risk, so to speak, or should I focus more in on the business interests I have and stay away from the cross-school minors?
Okay. So another great follow-up question, and my mentoring advice to you, Gabby, is always follow your passion. I don't think that is going to hurt you in any way. If you're still going to have a business degree, a business major degree like marketing, if you are able to combine that with a passion of yours like English, I think that differentiates you in the marketplace from other marketers. And I think from my work in corporate America and my work at Villanova, communication is something all employers look for. Great communication skills, great writing skills, great interpersonal skills, great public speaking skills. It's hard to get work done without being able to communicate successfully with people, whether they're people on your team and in your organization, or customers or partners that you're trying to do business with. So I think a communication degree would tell me, wow, you have a lot of strong skill sets and are the kind of person that could be really successful in a role in an organization. So I'd say go for it. Go for that English degree, and don't be afraid of doing what's right for you, because it might be more the exception versus the rule at Villanova. This is about your college experience and your career path. So start planning for you and really doing some soul searching, which clearly you are doing, to find out what the best recipe is to get you down that path. All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's give it up here for Gabby. Thank you for volunteering. And I'll ask Denise and Cindy to come up for round 2 of real-time mentoring.
Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Cindy. Thanks for coming.
Okay, so my first question for you is, I was wondering if I should take internships related to one field of interest, or if I should try to diversify my experiences.
Great. Excellent question, and I would like just take a moment to say thank you for putting this agenda together for us so we can really focus in on the topics that you want to cover, because my time is very important, as you know. But I really want to make the most of this time with you. It's a great question. I know we talked a little bit. Tell me some of the areas of interest that you have. I know you did the one internship in analytics at Macy's. What else are you thinking about?
Well, I did enjoy working for Macy's, and I loved the analytics internship, and I also wanted to try banking, but I wasn't sure if I should focus in on analytics because I enjoyed my internship so much, or should I kind of try out banking and see if I'd like that better.
I would say that at this point you really have the luxury and the time to explore different industries and different functions. I think that would benefit you the best so that you can focus in on those areas that really motivate you and speak to you. So I would use this time now to explore as many as you possibly can before your senior year.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And my other question is, as I mentioned, I'm interested in looking for an internship and doing an internship again this summer, and I would like to reach out to alumni for help, and I was wondering what the best way to reach out is.
Right. Well, you did a great job reaching out to me. I just happen to have some paper information that I got in the mail. There's various ways to do it. Let's talk about the first way. I know you and I are connected on LinkedIn. We just did that this afternoon, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
That's brilliant. In the business world, that is the Facebook of professionals. So it's great that you are starting your profile, and we'll continue to flesh that out as you get more experience. The other great way is to leverage the power of the Nova Network. And I know Michelle will talk a little bit more about this at the end. But the Nova Network, as you know, is really an umbrella of a lot of different resources, and I know that there's that one specific module to look for career advisors, and they have a variety of, in fact, here's the information that you can have. They have a variety of areas of interest that you can look for. I actually went in myself and looked under fashion, because I know we had talked a little bit, and that was one area that you were interested in. I happened to notice that Beth Simonson, who graduated a few years ago, is in your New York area. She works for Estee Lauder, and just, her name was one of them, and could be a good place to start. But it really makes sense for you to get into that resource and really get your head around learning everything here at campus for you, because there's a lot of resources. So reaching out and letting them know your area of interest, and just really looking for advice. I think you definitely don't want to go in and ask for a job, but looking for their advice and in your areas of interest would be a great first start. And then following up with them if you haven't heard from them after a little while.
Thank you.
What do you think of that?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I also have a book that I suggest that you would probably really get a lot out of. It's called Lean In.
Thank you.
And I know it's meant a lot to me, and I think it would be great for you. So, thanks again.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Excellent. Okay. So a little bit of role playing. Did you get the idea of what goes on in a mentoring relationship? Some questions, some answers, some resources offered, look in this direction. That's what we were trying to illustrate with two real volunteers, a freshman and sophomore, with their real questions as they're going through their thought process and planning for selecting a major and for internships and for the rest of their undergraduate and the beginning of their professional experiences. So at this point, we would like to open it up to you for questions. We did say this is all about education and helping you learn more tonight about mentoring and the possibilities that come with mentoring. So please don't be shy. We'd like to hear from you now as part of this program. Who has the first question? Please.
One of the things that I worry about with mentors is a lot of it, like so far I've done over email, and I don't want to overstep my boundaries because I worry that I'm nagging them. Would you have any advice about how much is a good amount of communication or how to approach it if they don't answer your emails or something like that?
Yeah, good question. So one of the things I was thinking through as you were asking your question is, do you feel like the person you're communicating with, it is in a mentoring relationship or maybe more of a networking relationship? And it could be either or both.
I'd say
It's a mix of both? Okay. I think email's great for a lot of things. I think it might be tricky if it's the only line of communication you have in a mentoring relationship, because mentoring is so personal, and I think best case scenario, you at least want to have a live conversation with someone, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes. If you have a key question, or if you can commit to one key question every month, that might be more effective than firing off emails and hoping that the message gets through and then hoping that a response comes back and hoping that it's timely and meaningful to you. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is work to have a live conversation with that person and really establish what kind of role you would like to have with them. Are you ready to ask them to work with you in a mentoring capacity? And if so, as a mentee, take initiative and say, what would really work for me is if we could have a 15-minute phone call every 4 weeks or every 6 weeks, or, would you be able to commit to every 8 weeks? Don't settle for anything that won't work for you, because if it's not going to work for that person, then maybe there's someone better that we can find for you. But you might, I just have a suspicion that maybe you're working with that person or thinking of them as someone key in your network who you're looking to for mentoring advice, and they may not realize that's the role you're hoping they play for them. So Marissa talked a little bit, and Dean Majidi talked a little bit about how I'm working to establish a mentoring program for VSB undergraduates, and that's in the works. We will be launching in January, and you'll be hearing a lot more about that as it gets closer to January and February, where we'll ask for some sophomore women to opt in, as opposed to leaning in, opting into the mentoring program. And one of the key things we'll do as the beginning of that program is to establish what we call a mentoring agreement, which will really lay out the expectations for both parties in terms of communications, how frequently, and if you're going to commit to live conversations or Skyping. I don't think email back and forth is best case scenario, but if it's someone key who, that's all you can get from them, we should, talk through that a little bit more. Maybe you need someone else to lean on to opt in for some other advice. So those are some early things I'd say, really inspect the relationship and the role they think they're playing and you think they're playing, and then be ready to have an open conversation to say, you've helped me with this. I could still use this kind of help going forward. Is that something, you'd be willing to work with me on? If so, if we could talk once a month or once every 6 weeks, I think that would, be suitable for me. And do so in a professional way that makes them feel comfortable whether they say yes or no. And I think either way you'll get clarity about how to best move ahead. Okay, thank you. That's a great question. Other questions? Please. Yes?
When looking for a mentor, do you think it's best to look for someone in your field of interest career-wise, or do you think it's more just in general someone that you admire that you want to adopt some of their qualities?
Great question. I would definitely say if you know where you want to be and you know what your field of interest is, definitely look for someone who's in that space and successful in that space. They are going to be the most beneficial resource for you, the best kind of mentor for you, and they're going to be able to offer you more help than another successful business professional who's not in that field. They'll have a network that can help you more, and they will have real life experience and skills that can help you more. They can tell you as a hiring manager what they look for. If you don't know exactly what you want to be when you grow up, that's okay too. I think it's important to know that about yourself, to be comfortable and confident saying that about yourself, because you are still undergraduates, you are still exploring, and I know people in their 30s and 40s and even older that are still re-exploring what they want to do and be when they grow up, and that happens and that's fine. I think you also want to be upfront when you recruit a mentor, to be open with them to say, I'm really doing exploration across a variety of places and I'm hoping that you could be a resource for me. I think good mentors will sign on to do that, but they may struggle a little bit with how to best help you because you're not as focused, you're more open-minded. Not to say they can't help you, but some mentors will feel like they're most helpful and a greater resource if they are exactly in the place you want to be going. Either way could work. I think just open communication is really critical there. Good question. Other questions? What are you curious about? Is everyone excited to get a professional mentor, or you still have some apprehension? You don't all have to say, we can't wait, Michelle. Yeah, we have a little bit more time. Would anybody like to come up and talk a little bit about a mentoring relationship they've already been part of, whether it's formal, informal, whether you've been a mentor or a mentee? I'd love to give you the opportunity. 1 minute or less. No takers? Please, come on up.
I'm thinking so.
Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tara O'Neill. I graduated from Villanova in '07, so I'm an alumni, and I work at Hamilton Lane Advisors in private equity now. I was a auditor at EY for 4 years before that. And I'm here to kind of learn about mentoring as well. I've had some mentors so far in my career, and I've also been a mentor to some younger, I guess, new hires that are now kind of more established in their career. And the biggest thing that I've noticed is that the informal mentors, the ones you make because it's a natural inclination and you're friends or you have something in common, is much more likely to last and be fruitful. When I'm looking for a new hire in our group, the first person I would think of is somebody that I worked with before or I shared a common interest, and all these I guess, suggestions about how to find mentors are really great, but it's more informal than you think, I think, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you very much, Tara. Okay, with that, I would like to close the formal part of the session here. And I would like you to take some time before you walk out that door, maybe just for a break, right? Because you're invited to come back in for the second session, to take a moment and look around and read about some of our other VSB staff and faculty who've had many informal mentoring relationships that have been impactful on their careers. Okay? Thank you so much for coming and being part of Are You My Mentor? I wish you all great mentoring experiences. Take care.